Specialists were first introduced in Black Ops 3. Now, they were a tad controversial at first, but they ended up growing a lot on the core COD community. Now, people say they spiced up the gameplay. But if you were a diehard Black Ops 3 player, which I know many of you were, myself included, which specialist were you using the most? Today, we're going to be doing a topic suggested by a viewer of the channel named Kuro the Freeman, who asked me about a month ago to rank every specialist in every Call of Duty game. So, we're going to do it. What's up, everybody? Jimmy or Chaos. This is going to be my ranking of every specialist in Black Ops 3. To be clear, we're only going to be counting the launch specialists. We will not be counting Blackjack, which really wouldn't even be fair, because he obviously was the best specialist in the game, because he's literally every specialist in the game. So you let me know what your favorite BO3 specialist was, drop a like on the video, and if you want us to rank the specialist in other COD games, let me know. Let's start off with dead last. I'm going to go with Nomad. So, of course, every specialist in Black Ops 3 has two ultimate abilities, one being lethal, one being tactical. So when I'm ranking them on the list, I'm going to try and factor in both of their abilities to determine their overall power. That being said, Nomad just wasn't very fun, nor were his abilities very helpful. Nomad's lethal ability was a launcher full of 5 hive mines. It could stick to any surface, kill anybody instantly who walked within a certain radius. That's cool. But the problem was that most of the maps in Black Ops 3 had a lot of open spaces to compensate for the advanced movement, so it wasn't uncommon for you to only get 1 to 2 kills with your mines after waiting all that time for your ability to charge up. On top of that, the mines were obvious, easy to destroy if you saw them, so you'd sometimes get no kills out of your ultimate, which that doesn't feel good. It doesn't sit right. Nomad's tactical ability was the rejack move. It became a meme in the Black Ops 3 community because of how useless it was. After you died, you emit a bunch of green smoke around your body, and then you spring back to life, at which point the person who killed you just kills you again and you die a second time. So the hive mines were underpowered. Rejack, pointless. So yeah, to me, Nomad was the worst specialist by a landslide. Every other specialist in the game was at least good or fun to use, but Nomad was neither of those. I'm going to put him at the bottom of the list. I don't think a lot of people are going to disagree with me. At number 8, Ruin. Might be a hot take. I know Ruin was a fan favorite, but when you compare his abilities to everyone else in the game, I think he was 8th. Now, granted, he was still a good character, like I said a second ago. I think every specialist in the game, with the exception of Nomad, was good. But somebody had to be at the bottom of the pack, and for me, it's Ruin. Ruin's lethal ultimate was the gravity spikes, which were freaking awesome. You could get in enemy territory, take 3 to 4 people by surprise, do your thing. Slamming onto a domination flag and getting a triple or quad kill was very satisfying. I mean, but more often than not, you'd only get 1 to 2 people, which could feel like a ripoff after they took so long to charge up. And frankly, I think Ruin's tactical ultimate, which was called Overdrive, was actually more useful. It charged pretty quickly. Once you activated it, you got a huge speed boost for 10 to 15 seconds that would allow you to make some pretty cheesy plays on enemy teams. You could zip from one side of the map all the way to the other. Now, I know, people love the gravity spikes. I did too. They're the flashy one, but if we're talking about sheer usefulness, I think this is fair. At number 7, Firebreak. Now, Firebreak was the final specialist you unlocked in BO3. A lot of people absolutely loved him. Both of his abilities were fire-based, of course, and they relied on close quarters combat. So naturally, the super aggressive BO3 players ran him a lot. Lethal ultimate was a purifier. Huge flamethrower. Killed anybody it made contact with, even if it was just a quick little brush on their toe. On smaller maps like Nuketown, you could get some stupid clips. But, I mean, to me, the more underrated ability of Firebreak was actually his tactical, the heat wave. This would send out a big heat wave around him, stun any enemy player caught in the radius, while also instantly destroying any equipment or score streaks they touch. Not only was it a really good way to get some cheesy kills on anybody who was caught in the wave, but you could rack up the XP if you were playing against people running shock charges, trip mines, hive mines, it didn't matter. Firebreak was a fun character, especially for smaller maps. He struggled a bit on the larger maps since his abilities were reliant on people being close to him, but still very solid. At number 6, Outrider. Now, Outrider may not have been the best character, but I always thought she was the coolest. I remember seeing the Black Ops 3 multiplayer reveal trailer and the E3 crowd going nuts when Outrider whipped out her explosive bow and arrow. Outrider's lethal ultimate was Sparrow, which you had, it had a learning curve, but it could do some insane damage in the hand of a player that was good with it. The arrows would explode a second or two after landing on something or someone, and the explosion was more than enough to kill instantly anybody that got too close. But the really cool thing you could do with the Sparrow was stick an arrow in an enemy, use the momentum of the arrow to send them flying back into a group of teammates and kill them with the arrow's explosion. It was hard to do, but it was rewarding. Now, Outrider's tactical ultimate, Vision Pulse, very helpful. Revealed all enemy locations on the map for a few seconds, allowed you to get a solid look at the lay of the land, where everybody was and where they were heading. She wasn't the easiest specialist to use, but she rewarded you for putting in the time. Now we arrive at the top 5. Reaper. We're getting into the really good ones. Reaper had some devastating abilities, both lethal and tactical. His lethal was obviously his most iconic, turned his robotic arm into the death machine, let you spray bullets at a ridiculous rate of fire at the enemy team, basically turned you into a walking sentry gun with a jetpack. The accuracy on the sentry gun arm was extremely tight. You could laser people from across the map with it, which made him really tough to go against. But his tactical ability, Psychosis, could get some work done. It would turn Reaper blue while sending out a group of blue clones in all directions that would run around the map in random directions, basically making it impossible for the enemy team to see which one was the real player and which one was decoys. If you played Halo Reach back in the day, Reaper's Psychosis ability was basically the hologram ability but on steroids, because you'd send 3 fakes out at a time. Psychosis was almost a guaranteed kill or 2, while the gun arm, I don't even know. There's so many. I think definitely Reaper deserves to be in the top 5. At number 4. Prophet. Despite being the 3rd specialist you unlocked, Prophet was definitely one of the best because of his ridiculously powerful lethal ultimate and his very tricky tactical. His lethal ultimate was the Tempest Rifle, which I'm sure you got killed by dozens of times throughout Black Ops 3's life cycle. It was a lightning rifle, would instantly kill anybody it touched, but it would also turn them into a lightning rod that would kill any teammates that were standing too close. So theoretically, one shot from the Tempest could kill the entire team if they were all packed together. And I'm sure all of you remember those moments in Black Ops 3 where you'd see your teammate get shot with the Tempest, and then you desperately try to turn and run away before the lightning could jump over to you. Then his tactical ability, Glitch. A little harder to use correctly, but still super helpful once you figured it out. Very quick charge, and once you activated it, it would zip you back to where you were 5 to 6 seconds ago, which was really a cool way to get yourself out of trouble if an enemy player surprised you or dropped a Simtex at your feet. Plus, you'd sometimes get lucky. You glitch yourself right behind an enemy player for an easy kill. Prophet was a really good character because not only did he have an insane offensive potential, but he also got he was carrying a get out of jail free card. At number 3, Sarif. Might be a hot take because I don't think Sarif was quite as popular as Prophet, but looking back at her abilities, I'm going to bump her up. Sarif was your 5th specialist, and she was a bit of a high skill character with both of her abilities, but they were strong. Firstly, the lethal ultimate, the Annihilator pistol, a giant revolver that would insta-kill anybody you hit, and the bullet would blast through enemy players, so you could get some insane collaterals if you could line people up. But her tactical ultimate was where you got your money's worth. It was called Combat Focus. Charged up relatively quickly. Once you activate it, it gave you a 100% bonus to your score for about 15 seconds, meaning you could get double score towards your score streaks during that time. The amount of score you could rack up with the Combat Focus in objective game modes was kind of broken. Think about it. A kill's worth 100 points. A kill on a domination flag, 125. Capturing a domination flag's worth 200. But if you pop Combat Focus, captured a domination flag, killed just one enemy in the process, you earned 650 points. If you captured a Dom flag, killed 2 enemies, it would get you 900 points. So like I said, Sarif was a bit of a high skill character because you had to be smart about where you popped Combat Focus and you had to make sure you were landing your shots and not getting killed, but the payoff was absolutely insane. At number 2, Battery. Sometimes you just want to blow everybody up. I get it. Battery was the go-to character for people who just wanted to blast through enemy teams one way or another. The lethal was the iconic War Machine grenade launcher, but there was a twist. Instead of just being a semi-auto launcher like it was in Black Ops 2, the grenades now split into 3 mini grenades after making contact, and it gave them some absurd insta-kill radius because those mini grenades were still more than capable of instantly killing enemy players caught in the blast radius. There's plenty of people who would earn the War Machine, whip it out, then blindly fire it across the map at objectives or enemy spawn points and get 4 to 5 kills. Then, Battery's tactical ultimate was the Kinetic Armor, basically COD 4's Juggernaut, but on steroids. Once you pop Kinetic, you would instantly get a flat 150 boost to your health. Gave you a total of 250 health, which that was difficult to counter if you were on the enemy team. So with how quickly Kinetic Armor charged and how impossible it was to shoot through, it basically made Battery invincible for a few seconds when the user activated. So whether you wanted to blow the enemy team up with a grenade launcher, or if you wanted to run through them and soak up all their bullets, Battery was the character for you. She was super popular for both of her ultimates, and I think she was the second best. And at number 1 today, the best specialist in Black Ops 3, I'm going Spectre. Second to last character you unlocked, and for many people, he was the go-to character for basically every map in game mode. His lethal ultimate was the Ripper. It was essentially Modern Warfare 2 Commando Pro, but crazy. Not only was it an instant melee kill, but it also had a super long lock-on range and a ridiculous lunge distance, and you got 125 points for every kill you landed, which that made Spectre a great choice for quickly earning streaks, especially in modes like Uplink where he could activate the Ripper while holding the ball and get even more bonus points with melee kills. But Spectre's tactical ultimate was even better. Active Camo made him virtually invisible for about 15 seconds, and I know all of you remember how many times you got snuck up on somebody running this. Spectre was overall the best character in the game because both of his abilities were ridiculously powerful and they charged really fast. Spectre players were constantly running around just slicking people up, disappearing into thin air, and there wasn't a counter to it. If Spectre was on the other team, you had to deal with the fact they were either going to be vanishing from your screen every 40 seconds or commando lunging you every 30 seconds. To me, best specialist in the game. Hands down. Not going to change my mind. You can make an argument, but I'm sticking with it. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you soon.